Well, everybody's talking about the coronavirus. It's like the only thing that's on the news and it's on everybody's lips. Obviously, because it's growing in its influence and it's growing in its threat. People are starting to be afraid in a sense. It's having a great effect on our economy. And it's just, on the front of everybody's mind. So today I want to talk about it as well. I want to talk about what the Bible says about the coronavirus and also about what a Christian response to the coronavirus should be. So let's talk about the first question. What does the Bible say about the coronavirus? I think I can say with some confidence the Bible says absolutely nothing about the coronavirus. Disease is part of our world. Disease is part of life. Coronavirus is another viral infection, along with tens of thousands of other viral infections, and the Bible really does not address it. As far as global pandemic, people are anxious about it. It's having great effect on our economy, on everyone's economy. It's having a great effect on people's health and on their emotional, their fears. But frankly, as far as what does the Bible say about it, really nothing. And as far as a global pandemic, frankly, it's one of at least several. 2,200 children die every day from diarrhea. Why doesn't that qualify as a global pandemic? I know it's mostly in the poorer countries of the world, but 2,200 deaths a day is a staggering number. And as far as, another thing I was thinking as to other global pandemics we have, I read on the internet that 110 million people in the world right now and on any given day have STDs. So that's far greater than the rising and fearful statistics that we see about the coronavirus. What does the Bible say about such things? The Bible only says that disease is part of our lives and part of our world. It's not to minimize the coronavirus by bringing up diarrhea and STDs, but it's to say that the Bible doesn't say anything specific about it. Of course, people wonder if it's a sign of the end times, and we'll have to see. I was just reading on the news today about another threat from Iran to other countries in the world. But a global pandemic is not necessarily an automatic indication of the end times. There are many puzzle pieces that go together to form what are going to be the signs and signals of the end times. Pestilence is one of them. Whether the coronavirus is that has yet to be seen. So I do want to talk about, what's the Christian response to the coronavirus? And I have 6 items. 6 items that might be of help in understanding what the Christian response is. First, I would say take every medical precaution you can. There is nothing in the Bible against being hygienic. Even in the Old Testament, the Israelites had many rituals about washing and keeping themselves clean. They had laws about staying away from dead bodies. They had laws about cooking meat thoroughly. And so there's nothing in the Bible that says we shouldn't be hygienic. And so, wash your hands, cough into your sleeve, take care of yourself, use proper hygiene. That's the first Christian response. Secondly, I would say use every medical benefit that's available to us. Again, there's nothing in the Bible against medical care. Some people seem to think that the Bible just says we go thoughts and prayer, but not medical care, and that's just not true. We are allowed to avail ourselves of all available medical care. Now, obviously, in the days of the Bible, they used a lot of herbal medicines and medicinal oils and mineral springs, hot water baths. Those are good things. The Bible has no objection to medical care. So use everything at your disposal as a Christian to take care of yourself and to take care of other people. The third thing I'd say is be wise, not reckless. Of course, we believe God can protect us and that God does protect us, but that doesn't mean we close our eyes and walk out on busy streets saying, well, God will protect me. It doesn't mean we step off the roofs of 10-story buildings saying that God will protect me. We all know that's not how it works. That's not what God's protection means. It's not what God expects us, how he expects us to act. That when the Bible says to love God with all your mind, it's a clear indication that using our brains is honoring to God, and so be wise, not reckless. Take appropriate steps of proper hygiene, medical care, and common sense to take care of yourself and those you love. The fourth thing I would say is to actively pray for the sick. The Bible does teach the effectiveness of prayer and encourages us in James 5 to pray for the sick. It encourages us in Philippians chapter 4 to pray about anything and everything, and to pray rather than live in anxiety. And so live a life of prayer. It's a very good Christian response to the coronavirus, is to be actively in prayer about this. Number 5, I would say wisdom is called for more than fear. Yes, a healthy dose of fear has its place, but also benefits. But panicked fear can just make things worse. So let's be wise out there. Take every responsible step and not just live a life of fear. I was reading on the internet where a pastor was saying that this is a time when he was talking about the Christian response to the coronavirus. He said it calls for faith rather than fear. That's true. I think it also calls for hygiene and medical care and wisdom rather than fear. Panicked fear can just make things worse, and so let's be wise. And the final thing I'd say is to an appropriate Christian response to the coronavirus is to be the helpers. Fred Rogers advised people in times of emergency. He said, look for the people who are helping. There's always someone who is helping. Find those people. Christians should be the ones who are helping others. We don't live in fear. Well, we live in wisdom. We live in practicality. We live in faith. Christians should be the ones helping others, not the ones wearing a sandwich board saying God is judging the world or the end is near, or being so fearful and selfish we aren't helping those in need. Our Christian response to the coronavirus is to be helpful, to be servants, to be caregivers, to be compassionate people. And I would say that's the Christian response to the coronavirus.